Connie, so if you want to call the meeting to order.
Okay. It's 6:30. We will call the meeting to order. Have you taken roll call?
I have, everyone is present as Julie is connecting right now. Everyone is present.
Okay. We have approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from our last meeting in April?
Connie, I make a motion to approve those minutes.
Okay.
I
Second?
second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Julie, are you with us? I still don't.
Julie, if you can hear
Hey,
us.
you're taking notes for us, right, Eric?
I am.
Julie's our secretary. So
Yes.
You're taking notes. All right.
Right.
Public requests and petitions.
I have none for this evening. We'll get to a semi-public request down in the new business.
All right. Old business.
In the agenda packet that I had sent you, Ryan and I have been in contact with, and Ryan, jump in whenever if I'm missing something or if you want to add something. But Ryan and I have been in contact with not only Steve Casey, but Larry with Vireo, and Ryan showing the updated via the screen of the 90% drawings. And the reason why I wanted to get you this, it shows from the beginning stages to where we are now. And Larry will be giving hopefully the 95 to 100% drawings to the Board of Aldermen at their next meeting, which will be Monday, August 3rd. If one or all of you would like to attend via Zoom that meeting, that would be great, because he is going to give an updated version of this with some of the drawings, because the Board of Aldermen has yet, because of this COVID stuff, you guys were the first ones that saw the actual pretty pictures of the splash pad and the playground that we chose. Now, we still haven't decided on a color, but we want to make sure that the Board of Aldermen sees the what all we have done, what's been done with Larry, with Vireo on the drawings, and the updated pictures that we have selected for the actual playground and splash pad. Ryan, you want to add anything on that?
No, I would just encourage everyone to take a look at these. I'm kind of showing them right now, but when you get a chance, take a look at them through your email attachment. They, obviously they're very, very detailed, but it gives you a really, really good understanding of how things are going to be laid out roughly, and what they're going to look like and that sort of thing. That's pretty much it.
One thing that I will bring up is on those drawings where you will come in from the one-way street on 2nd Street to the actual south side of the park, we will have a water fountain there, and the sundial will be located in that area, and also the plaques of from when Lions Park was dedicated way back when, the bench, sundial, a new drinking fountain with the plaques there. That way, it keeps the history of the actual Lions Park, but we go forward with, like I said, that sundial, the drinking fountain, a separate one in addition to the one that we are going to have placed on the new bathrooms. There'll be a drinking fountain located there as well. So there'll be actually 2 drinking fountains in Lions Park, which Ryan and I think is good.
Yep.
Hopefully it's one of those with the dog fountain included at the front, because we have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people using that to bring their pet down and walk in that park as well.
What about the water bottle option where you can fill your water bottle? Is that a option?
We haven't looked at that, but I'm going to make a note of that because
I think that would be a great option for the one on the bathroom, because all the ones I've seen like that are kind of like wall attaching ones. And because I know they have one like that in the high school, and it's really cool. I think that would be great attached to the wall of the bathroom there. And then the other one would be like the more traditional one that, is kind of long and skinny and I think, I think that one would actually be.
Connie, that's good, because they're not allowing except the water bottle fountains at the school when they go back to that.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea.
Yep.
I'm making a note.
I like that a lot.
Hey, Ryan,
Yes, sir.
did Steve Casey take into effect anything on the 105 property that we've acquired?
Not currently, no. That's
Okay.
that had happened, while the planning process was going on.
Right.
I suspect that that would be kind of the next project, developing something on that property. I'm sure there's a few ideas floating around already.
Okay.
Right now, that's just projected into this project as green space, Dan. Anything else on the Lions Park master plan that you guys can think of or want me to bring up to Steve Casey before Larry brings that to the Board of Aldermen on the 3rd of August?
Are we looking for this to be done? Are we looking for this to be done all at one time, or will it be done in stages?
The project, once we do a bid for a general contractor and things of that nature, when they start, it's going to be for the entire project.
Great.
That's what we anticipate. Now, if the bids come in way high, you might not do the amphitheater. Say, for example, you might pull one piece out of it, and I would think that the piece, if we would do anything, the least use out of everything, I would think, would be the amphitheater stage. But that's down the road. We don't know until we actually get bids and things of that, but it's to do the whole project at one time.
Yeah. And
So are you
Dan.
anticipating like 1.3 million? Is that what you're thinking?
1.2 is the actual cost of the project.
That we're projecting. Yeah.
Steve thinks that it should be fairly close, because he was high. He went when he was doing the bids, but he says you just never know what the contractor and everything is coming in at. I had a subcontractor contact me and ask if when this is going to be going out for bid, and we told him we have. Right now, the project's still on hold, and he said, well, I know I'm a subcontractor for the splash pad and the actual shelters that the company uses for the splash pad. And I said, won't know until we do a general contractor bid. And he says, well, if that's the case, he said, I just might submit a bid for everything, because I'm 2 parts into the whole thing anyway. And I said, when that happens, I said, we will advertise out for bid, it'll be on our website, and then we always send it out nationally. And we always have where we have to send the bids in, who all bid, what were the bids, the bid tabulations, and send it off, because it'll get picked up around the whole state of Missouri and in Kansas, and I would venture to say some people in Nebraska, because I think it's a ready to go project, and people are wanting to get back to doing some work. So I anticipate quite a number of general contractor bids. I'm hoping anyway.
Now you're taking this as fresh water, not recycle, right?
That's
correct.
correct.
Yeah.
Not a recycled project.
And
Go ahead, Ryan.
okay, if you look on the 95% drawings, you'll see there's a little brook that comes out.
Area.
Yeah, riprap brook that comes out on the west side of the park and actually goes into Bear Creek. And EPA is fine with that method of dechlorinization. So that's what we're planning to go with.
Okay.
Enough daylight where it's exposed, where before it gets into Bear Creek and things like that. DNR, it's a thing that we knew we would have to do for DNR to let it go down into the stream.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know if they approved that or not.
With the drawings, they think that will be able to do it that way. With that, any other questions on the master plan?
So looking at the project schedule, it was October we would start seeing some work over there, but that's on hold, you're saying?
That's correct right now.
And what
as of right now, don't know what the board and mayor are going to say at the August meeting. We've talked about it in Friday morning meetings, but as of right now, this is where Steve thinks that we are at right now. We had to send in our second quarterly report to Jeff City for the project to keep them up to date on the grant application. So this is if we fire back up in October, so we can use it next year. Now, if the board decides to push it back with the COVID, that's up to the board and mayor and Jim to all decide. So hopefully they'll go forward with it, and things, hopefully we'll get good news with the, sales tax not being as bad as what they anticipate, but who knows until those numbers come.
All right, can we move on to youth sports?
Yes, as you all know, we did not have our baseball and softball spring sports due to the COVID. June 1st, we opened up everything to the public, including the baseball, softball fields, playground, bathrooms, so on and so forth. We continue to disinfect the bathrooms each and every day, even when it was raining, because you never know when it's going to quit raining and people go right out right away and use the trails. So we continue to do that each and every morning, first thing before anything is done. We have advertised now, and we're waiting on our new banners, but we have already had people sign up for our fall sports, including soccer, flag football, and volleyball. So we're waiting to hear back on our gym availability with the school, but we have been in contact with the school for that. Ryan put on the sign-up sheets about wearing masks as a spectator when you do come in. That's going to be a challenge. This is going to be a challenge for us, but it's in the waiver that Ryan put out when they do sign up to abide by that. So we'll see how it goes. We're leery about, football, even though USA Football has said, with the steps and so on and so forth. We don't need another setback, and we think we're going to catch some blowback from both ways. If we don't try and do it, we're not trying to do anything to get kids activities. If we do it, the risk of this. So we're going to try our darndest to continue to make sure that the kids are as safe as we can possibly make them, and we'll go from there. We don't want what happened down at Baser, where they had a tournament down there with baseball and softball, and they've traced it back to that park baseball softball complex to 90 cases of COVID. 90. So we don't want that to happen, but we'll see what happens.
What kind of complex was it?
The baseball softball.
It's called.
It was outdoor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, outdoor. It's called Baser Field of Dreams, and they just didn't do what they were supposed to do, and I guess people were sitting in the stands, and I don't know the full details. All I do know is they have traced it back to that location with 90 people, so they shut that complex back down. It's just one time, guys, and that's why Ryan and I we're nervous as all get out, but we want to be able to offer these kids. They've got to be able to do something, and we're for that. That's what we want to do, but we have to take every precaution that we can so something like this doesn't happen. That's where we're at with our fall activities. Ryan, you have anything you want to add on that?
No, other than it'll be kind of interesting. I'm in pretty constant contact with Smithville Parks and Rec, because we're partnering with them on our soccer, and they've actually had not a lot of people sign up yet for their soccer, so it'll be interesting to see how that turns out as far as signups go, because from what we hear, people are ready, but generally, I think if people aren't ready, they're not going to be saying, they're not going to be broadcasting that, is what I'm trying to say. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We're, like Eric said, we're going to try our darndest to make sure everything's as safe as possible. We're going to follow the steps that we've been afforded through Clay County Health and everything. And hopefully it's a go, and hopefully everything works and everyone's safe.
I would expect adults to be able to socially distance, wear masks, and be safe in the stands. I mean, we can do that. We're outside. It's probably a low-level risk, but I still don't understand the rationale behind allowing kids to. I believe they're a low-risk category group. That's why I believe they should go back to school, the whole deal. But what's the idea behind allowing them to sweat and contact all each other during these sports? That's not a big deal.
Well, we're not going to profess to be medical experts by any means. From what Clay County has guided us with, non-contact sports are okay, and flag football would be considered a non-contact sport. You're actually not even allowed to block with your hands.
It's a contact sport.
Well, that's how they. In a perfect world, it's not. Right. But volleyball and soccer kind of fall along the same lines, really. But they say
there's no high-fiving each other and so on and so forth.
But they're all touching the same ball.
Right.
It's just I'm glad you guys are bringing this up, because this is stuff that Eric and I have kicked around a bunch, trying to talk this out and figure out what in the world we're going to do, because you're 100% right. They are all touching the same ball. It's kind of mind-boggling a little bit. But Clay County Health says it's okay.
So
Well, and the parents that are concerned about it aren't going to sign their kids up.
most likely not.
Right.
Yeah.
The parents who, aren't concerned, those will be the ones signing up. So at least you're giving the community some freedom to choose for their family
Right.
what they think is best.
Well, and the other thing about this whole situation is that we rely on the high school gyms for our volleyball program. We don't have anywhere else to play except for the schools. We still haven't heard back as far as we requested a list of dates and everything that we'd like to have our practices and games on, but we still haven't heard back from them, and I'm sure they're getting inundated with usage requests and everything, and so they're still trying to navigate that as well. So
Are they definitely going to allow us to use their facility?
that's not 100%. I mean, we don't
Right.
know. We've just requested it and have not heard. We didn't just request it, but we have requested it and have not heard back yet. And we're going to make contact with them probably tomorrow or Thursday and just kind of poke our head in and say, hey, we're still here. What do you guys think? But they've got a lot of stuff.
One person that does the scheduling of the gyms, and she's got to work through all of their activities that they have, and then she gets back with us. And she just went back July. Well, their contract starts July 1, so it usually does take her a little bit to get back with us on, those dates are okay, except this certain date we've got, an activity in the gym, that a band concert or something like that they've had in the past, or something in the auditorium where they don't want us using the gym because of coming into the gym and going out to the hallways for the bathrooms. And so she's got to work through that. But if they say no, we're going to hold off on, use of the gym this year because of this COVID. The good thing about it is everything online. It'll be a lot easier to refund that money instead of
It takes me a day, half a day to a day to refund an entire program, which I learned with baseball and soccer in the spring. But versus before, it would have took us several days to refund everybody. So
plus going through the Board of Aldermen with all the refunds, and filling out that paperwork. So we'll see what happens. All we can do is offer the program and try, as you guys, or Connie, as you stated, that we're offering the program and trying to do the best we possibly can to keep everyone as safe as we can. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but we can always refund that money. So that's where we're at.
I'm glad you're going to try. I mean, let's put it out there. It's really up to the parents to decide if they want to participate or not.
Yep. And, everybody's got a different comfort level.
Right.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, Connie, I was just wondering, has the school got in touch with us about cross country out there? Because when they have those meets, there's a lot of people that come to that. Have we heard anything about that?
I'm glad you brought that up because yes, all summer long, Jeff Roberts, if you know Jeff, wants to stay on top of that. They are having in our calendar that we have here for the parks, they are having their cross country meet, and they are hosting districts out there this year. So he wanted that to be make sure we have those dates penciled in, which we do. Sheila just needed confirmation that we have it, and we've spoken with Coach Roberts and told him, those dates are still open for the high school cross country meet.
When is
I'm
that
telling you right
district?
now. Pardon me, I'm sorry, Connie.
When is that district meet?
I can get you that right now.
It's usually the first week in October. Usually.
October 10th Well, actually, they have the junior high cross country meet is October 5th, and that's Monday. That's not that many participants, but their big invitational meet that they host is Saturday, October 10th. And then their districts is actually Saturday, October 31st. So they'll have three meets out there this year. They usually have two, possibly three, and they are having their third out there. The junior high.
Who's policing that? Us or them?
They would be.
Them. They do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And that won't violate the mass gathering order?
I don't know, Connie, because right now, you know, they say 250 at one location, but I think that the schools might go off of a different formula because of, well, there's 300 in this last graduating class that they're going to be having graduation, you know, this Saturday. So I don't know how all that works, Connie. Right now, all I do know is that they've asked for the park for those dates, and we reciprocate with them. And I think, I'm not for sure, that they might go off with a different formulation other than what we do. So
All right.
anyway,
Anything else on that? Can we move on to park maintenance?
with the COVID, we don't have any part-time or two part-time summer help people. Were scratched from the budget this year. So Ryan and I and Ray are the ones that are maintaining the parks. As of now, we've cut down a bunch of trees. We're trimming a bunch of trees. The first storm that we had earlier this year, we lost quite a few trees. Some up in Mac Porter, some up in Jesse James. But the thing of it is, our departments here at the city, we've been working hand in hand with the street department where we're able to use their chipper when we do cut the tree down. We've lost some up at the amphitheater, the Cottonwoods, where we cut them down and got them chipped up. We continue to mow. It really slowed down last week where we only had to mow 2 of the soccer fields because the others were had slowed down so much. But now with this rain, when it starts to, you know, the rain gets out of the system, it's going to be crazy growing season again out there. So we continue to do that, spray chemical on the ball fields if the grass and the weeds start to come up, which they do all the time, and we constantly spray that. The demolition derby and the rodeo arena, we continue to keep the weeds down from that. Trying to keep the parks as maintained as we possibly can. We do know this fall a bunch of the pin oaks that we want to get trimmed up, and all the trees where we do mow. We've been compiling a list of exactly what we want to do. So once the cooler weather hits this fall and the leaves start to fall, it'll be a lot easier for us to go in and trim a bunch of trees back along the trail. Guys, this COVID thing is, you know, we all hate it and everything. It's turned lives upside down, but it's exposed a lot of new people to our facilities. A lot.
Yeah, we have more walkers now than we ever have. New
people that I didn't know this even existed, you know, and they're talking about the new bridge that connects the two parks. Mm-hmm. And you know, the trail at Mac Porter didn't get used very much. And that was a lot of money that was spent on that trail, and then we added that other trail going north into the bridge location, and it's just really taken off. That park is used extensive, well, both. So, which is nice. I mean, yeah, we don't like the COVID, but even after this COVID ends, I think we've seen a lot of people start to get out, and will continue to use the trail systems that we have. One thing in the park maintenance, we have added a pad over by the, it would be the northwest kind of corner of the pond. And it's along the trail, so there'll be another park bench added. We're going to put the actual bench in tomorrow for Bob Regal, in memory of Bob Regal. Rick and Ron Regal paid for the bench and the engraving of the plaque. And we will also be getting another memorial bench out there for Melissa Vickers in honor of her sister that died a couple of years ago. They used to live 2 houses to the west of me. So getting some more benches in there, which is a nice deal because people use those benches a lot. You can go out there in the morning, and that one bench by the handicap ramp is used all the time.
I've got a guy that comes in there at 10:15 every morning, like almost on the dot. And I'll be going by on a mower or something, and he'll just wave and have a big old smile on his face. He just loves to sit in that bench right there on the pond at darn near 10:15 every single day.
So anyway, that's what we have on park maintenance. We're also going over to the Mac Porter and mowing an extra mow when it needs it on the outfields. We've cut back at the amphitheater and Mac Porter Park with contract mowing to also help the city save money once every other week. And in between, we go over and mow the actual outfields of the ball fields when they do need it. So we're trying to save the city and the Parks Department budget as much as we can because of this pandemic that's going on. It's taking a chunk out of everybody's budget. So.
All right. Is that it for park maintenance?
I don't have anything else, Connie.
Okay, new business.
Rotary Club, been in contact with Dan's wife, and the Kearney Rotary Club is looking into writing a grant. Debbie called the other day and they extended the grant deadline, but they're trying to get a grant to help pay for pet waste stations. And that's what I emailed you later on today. I forgot to include that in the original email. So you kind of know what they look like. These, if approved by you, we would take to the Board of Aldermen. I've seen them in various different parks when I've been going back to help my mom with her rehab and her downtime that she's been in the hospital. They've added these stations on their trails, and Ryan just put that up on the screen, but these are all in one encompass, one post. The little trash cans underneath, the actual doggy dispenser right there, and then actually the sign at the top. And we strategically place these where we think they would need, and it would include Mac Porter, Jesse James, and on the South Campus Trail as well. So
do we know how many they're going to try to get?
The last I heard, when I first visited with Debbie was 15. They don't know, if they'll get the grant. That it's all right now depending on how much money or if they can get any money at all in the grant. But we think that'd be nice. I know some people disagree with us because of you're never going to have them in the exact right location. Well, we don't like to be running over the dog waste on our mowers and things of that nature. And it's something we offer because some people just flat don't come out there with their bags to help clean up after their pet. And this is something we think.
Would the Rotary continue to fill the bags, or is that something the city would do?
That's something we're gonna contact them, but we buy trash bags at the amphitheater all the time, and these I don't think will be the cost. It's a park expense. It's something to help keep the park clean. So the expense I think will be nominal, but it's something I think that is a worthwhile project, an actual worthwhile project. So we'll see how it goes when we hear back from Rotary.
So do you need a motion from us to approve?
Yeah, approve the
allowing
motion to approve the the dog waste stations pending approval in number of stations from Rotary Club.
Okay, so a motion.
If you think this is a good idea, if you don't, then that's
Does anybody
fine.
have any comments?
You mentioned a South Campus Trail. I think you said. What are you talking about when you say that?
The trail. Most people park right there at the skate park, pickleball court area,
Around the
and they
school,
walk
through Greenfield there and all.
high school all the way down through under Fishing River and out by the sewer treatment plant, back on the school campus trail and around that area. Yeah, that's a big one.
I noticed there were signs that led into the woods, certain trails and stuff. Are those no longer being maintained? Because I saw those signs down.
Actually, we have vandalism.
Oh, okay.
And signs have just came in. So
Fantastic.
Went out there. Two of those signs are where a few years ago people had thrown rocks on the trail right at Fishing River, and someone was riding one of those sit-down bikes and crashed pretty good. Well, we had some vandalism. They took the posts and the signs off. We found one of the posts clear down in Fishing River itself, and we never did find the one that leads into the nature trail, but we have those signs as well that we'll be putting up on the nature, entering and exiting the nature trail. So those signs are up, or in, I should say.
All right, I'll make a motion to go for the dog waste stations after Rotary decides exactly where and how many.
Second?
I'll second.
All right.
Who seconded?
All in favor?
I did.
Christy did.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay.
How do you get the dogs to poop at these stations?
When you find out, you let us know.
Yeah, really.
And then we'll place them exactly there. Okay. I appreciate that.
All right, new park benches. Have you pretty much covered that already?
I did.
Yeah.
Nothing else to add there?
Nothing to add on the new park bench.
All
Except if you know of someone that is interested in doing something like that, have them contact Ryan or I, because people, this happened is how this all came about is they started walking the trail and they loved the trail, and the sister said, I'd like to do that in honor of my sister who died of cancer. And it's just because they decided with this pandemic to start walking the trails and saw the benches and said, hey, that's pretty dang neat. I want to do this. So if you know of someone that is looking, because we'd like to start adding some benches in Mac Porter as well.
Could you call the Courier and have them do a little story on when these 2 benches get installed, and do a little story and then maybe promote that a little?
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Yep.
All right.
Does the families pay for that?
Yeah,
They do.
What's the cost of that?
In the last Board of Aldermen meeting last night, there was a memo from Mayor Pogue to LPG Ventures about the concrete that they donate for these benches. Might not seem like a lot of concrete, but we haven't paid for one slab of concrete out there. The police give them an escort out to the park. They've done all the park bench pad locations, plus they did all 18 hole tee box locations for us in the disc golf.
Yep.
And when you add that up, that is a sizable donation that company has done for us, and they donate that concrete.
Yeah.
So
So,
basically,
What company is that?
LPG Ventures.
LPG Ventures.
Yep. And so Nick, the benches themselves cost around $1,000, and the families pay for that. LPG has been kind enough to donate the concrete, and then our crew will work the concrete and form up the pad and everything. And we don't charge the family for that because it's it's improvement to the park that everybody gets to use. So that's a good use of city time. So
Does that include the
And
plaque?
the plaque actually is part of the bench. Yeah.
The plaque comes with the bench, but then we take it over to Liberty for the engraving, and then the family also pays for that engraving as well.
Yeah, and
We
the engraving's
send
pretty
them
cheap.
$30 is what they charged the last one. So the bench pads itself, sometimes Rotary has done that as a service project. The next to the last one that they did, some of the Rotarians came out and formed up the pad and actually leveled it all off and did that as a service project. So Rotary's involved in our community, and we can't thank them enough.
All right, moving on to amphitheater.
Okay,
One
so
thing we do have, let me go real quick here, Ryan. We are actually going to have someone using that thing this year. The school is going to have their convocation. That way they can social distance and have all their teaching and administrative staff at the location instead of having them in the either a gymnasium or their auditorium. So they'll be using that on August 17th. And then Ryan can talk to you about our plans for the amphitheater for the next year, and maybe the pavilion in October. So take it away, Ryan.
Okay, so basically, obviously this year was canceled. Fortunately, we had a really nice schedule planned for this year, for the 2020 season. We are going to attempt to roll as much of that into 2021 as possible and plan as though there's going to be a 2021 season. So we'll be really kicking off the planning for that in earnest here in late September, early October. Also in October, we normally have our Oktoberfest event out there at the pavilion, and we actually have not canceled that event yet. We've kind of taken a wait and see approach with that one since it was so far out from when we canceled the amphitheater events. So we're still taking a wait and see approach to that. There's not a ton of man hours that go into that event, so I expect that we'll be able to make a decision on that probably sometime in August. And I mean, hopefully we can have it because it's a great event, and a lot of people have a good time. But it's ultimately going to come down to the CDC and Clay County health guidelines. It will be the determining factor on that.
Same
Assuming
for
they don't
as
get any
our
worse.
Kids Fest.
Yeah, same
We
thing
don't
with the
know
Kids
yet.
Fest. Because we normally get, as you know, Connie, and as most of you know, we normally get quite a gaggle of children out there for that Kids Fest event, and it's super awesome. We just don't know, what the gathering restrictions will be at that point. So we just have to wait
With
and
the
see.
inflatables and everything.
And is that scheduled for October 10th or?
It's actually the second weekend of.
Yeah, so that
It's
would be the
in the
10th.
afternoon, the 10th. Yeah, we always have it after their big event, their big cross country event. And they're out of the park. The cross country teams are out of the park. We moved it back an hour to allow some them getting out of our way and us being able to get the fund services crew in to do the setup and the mechanical rides and also the inflatables in that area. So that's still we're still planning on that, but we don't know. Our big thing is, everybody's going to be using getting in and out of the rides, hanging on in the same location. The inflatables going down, that's something that Ryan and I are leery about. So we have to wait and see on that. So.
Okay, is that all you have for amphitheater?
It is.
All
Hey,
right.
Ryan, have we heard from Rose Fest?
So Rosefest, naturally, they're not having their event this year.
They canceled.
Yeah, they're planning on
Yeah, but I
coming
mean,
back.
are they already on board for next year? I mean, have they talked to you about that?
Yeah, they're planning on coming back next year. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, any other board comments? All right,
Nope.
so I have a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, guys. Thank you
Okay.
so much for coming tonight. I wish we had a better explanation than wait and see